I just watched this horror movie and it made me realize something uncomfortable about grief. I don't think we ever truly get over losing people. I think we just learn how to live with the absence. And honestly, I think trying to completely move on is what destroys a lot of people because grief doesn't disappear. It only changes shape. This is your host, Black Casper, and I take the grim lessons from horror movies and try to apply it in real life to live a better life. And today, we're talking about Bring Her Back. And as always, spoilers ahead. At its core, Bring Her Back is a movie about grief, loss, and what happens when someone becomes unable to let go. The movie slowly shows how grief can transform into obsession, denial, desperation, and more tragically, emotional destruction. The horror doesn't just come from what's happening physically in the film. It comes from the emotional truth underneath it. Because if you ever lost someone important, part of you understands that desperation. Part of you understands that urge to hold on to people even after they're gone. And it's just part of human nature. And that's when the movie hit me differently. Or I should say hit me personally. I watched my cousin die from pancreatic cancer at a young age. And seeing someone who you love slowly disappear in front of you changes something inside of you. It forces you to confront death in a way you can't really explain unless you've experienced it yourself. The first thing this movie helped me realize is that grief doesn't actually go away. And I think a lot of people hurt themselves trying to force it to. We hear phrases like healing or finding closure or that time heals all wounds. But what does that really mean when you truly love somebody? How do you completely move on from someone whose existence shaped your life? I honestly don't think that you do. I think grief is something that stays with you forever. The difference is that over time, you learn how to carry it differently. And that's what this movie really understands. The horror comes from characters refusing to accept the permanence of loss. They want things to go back to normal. They want the pain gone, but grief doesn't work that way because grief is love with nowhere to go. After losing my cousin, I remember feeling like something was wrong with me because the pain never really disappeared. Years later, there are still moments that it hits me unexpectedly. Certain memories, certain conversations, certain reminders. And for a long time, I thought healing meant eventually feeling nothing at all. But this movie helped me realize that the pain staying doesn't mean you're broken. It means that the person mattered. And she was truly the glue that kept everything together, my cousin. The second thing the movie helped me understand is that unprocessed grief can slowly consume you. And honestly, I think that's where the real horror of this film comes from. The characters don't truly process their pain. They suppress it, they deny it, they obsess over it, and eventually it destroys them emotionally as it haunts them. Especially for the main character, the guy with the blonde hair. What's his name? Andy. Because grief doesn't disappear just because you avoid it. It transforms. Sometimes anger, sometimes into desperation or depression, sometimes into isolation, sometimes into emotional numbness. And I think a lot of people don't realize how much grief slowly shapes their behavior, especially when they never properly confront it. After losing my cousin, there were periods of my life where I emotionally shut down without fully understanding why. I wanted to isolate myself and I felt really numb and I wanted to distance myself. And the scary part about grief is that you become so used to carrying pain that you stop realizing how heavy it actually is. And I believe that's what Brings Her Back captures so well. The horror isn't death itself or the scary demons or whatever. It's what unresolved grief turns people into. But the biggest thing this movie taught me is that peace doesn't come from escaping grief. It comes from accepting it. And that realization completely changed how I view loss. For years, I thought healing meant no more sadness, no more pain, no more emotional weight, and it just disappears and you can finally come to terms with it and accept it. But honestly, I don't think true grief ever fully closes. I think acceptance is realizing the pain may always exist, but it doesn't have to control your life forever. And the problem is that we let it control our lives. And that's different. You stop trying to erase the loss. You stop trying to fix the grief or feeling like something's wrong with you. You stop fighting reality itself. And instead you slowly learn how to live honestly with the memory of the person that you lost. Honestly, there are times where I wish I could have spent more times with my cousin. And I still have the last ever text message I ever sent to her, which was, "I love you." Nobody wants to lose people they love. And that's what makes us human. No one wants to accept that certain moments are gone forever or that new moments can't be recreated. But life doesn't ask permission to move forward. It just does. And eventually, we decide whether or not it's going to imprison us or deepen us or bury us or destroy us. That's why this movie affected me so deeply. Because beneath all the horror imagery, the disturbing moments, the emotional chaos, the demon, again, the crazy cult resurrection thing in the movie, I believe that it really asks one terrifying question. What happens when we refuse to let go? And honestly, I still don't think you ever fully get over losing someone. I don't think the pain completely disappears. I think it becomes a part of who you are. And it changes you. It's like a part of you is died and it's not coming back. And the crazy part is, maybe that's okay. Because maybe the goal was never to erase the grief. Maybe the goal is learning how to carry it without letting it consume your life, without letting it consume you. And maybe the reason grief hurts so much is because love leaves an imprint that death can't replace and that it can erase. So now, instead of trying to move on from loss or time heals all wounds or whatever that BS is, I try to honor it. I try to appreciate the fact that I love someone enough for that absence to still affect me. And I try to live through the positive memories and all the memories that I had with this person. And maybe that's what peace actually is. Not forgetting, not escaping, or any of that, but accepting that grief and love are connected forever. You can't have one without the other. It's like yin and yang, you know? And maybe that's the scariest part about grief. That it's not losing people, it's realizing how deeply they became a part of who you are. And it's something that just lives inside of all of us. And I think it's realizing how deeply they become a part of who you are. And that's when it hits us the most. At least that's my opinion. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening to this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Cherish your loved ones. Thank you.